What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I'm your host, Randi Hipper, here today with some good vibes. If you guys are here, if you're feeling the good vibes already, don't hesitate to share love. We all need love in our lives. Smash the like, subscribe, share the stream out with friends, and comment in the chat. We're all friendly people out here. It's really great to see all of you guys here. I'm very excited to hang out with today's guest. We got Jayson Casper. How are you?
I'm good, Randy. Thank you for having me on your channel. Honored to be here.
Of course. I've been waiting a little bit for this. I know we've been on around the blockchain together and everything like that, but I wanted to get to know you. I needed some one-on-one Jayson time. So let's rewind from where we are now. Let's go back to college Jayson Casper. What were you up to? What did you think you were going to do with your life?
That's a good question. When I was in high school, I was very much so into playing guitar. I would actually practice guitar about 8 hours a day. And my senior year of high school, I would stay up all night practicing. And then I would bring a pillow in my backpack. That's all I would have. And I would sleep in class with the pillow. And I didn't know really what I wanted to do besides music. So it's a good thing that when I didn't actually graduate high school, because my band ended up getting a record deal and I was out on tour, didn't go to my graduation.
Wow.
And I did that for 3 years. And this is before crypto. So I never went to college, and I'm very thankful I never went to college. And I pray my kids never go to college unless they're going to be something useful like a doctor or, something like that.
So how old are you now?
How old do I look?
I'm going to say I want to say 23.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's nice. I'm 32, so.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were 24. I was like, oh wow. Okay. So
I feel 23.
Well, you definitely look 23. So, what was it like? Not even So, did you get your GED, or you just straight up?
I never got it.
Wow.
I never got it.
When did you start? Playing? What attracted you to music?
I don't know. It was the only thing I was ever really good at, to be honest with you. So I just started to get into it more and more.
That's amazing. And, getting a record deal, what was the process of that? How did you get discovered? What was that like?
Oh, wow. Well, I played very heavy metal.
Wow.
So, the drummer of my band, he was just really good at marketing. So he would book us on tours with these really big bands. And sometimes the headliners thought we were actually opening up for the tour package, but he would just book us all around the country. And eventually word got around and somebody heard our demo, and we played a showcase for some people in California, and then we got signed.
Wow. And you said California you were when you got signed?
Yeah, that's where we played a showcase, but we actually found out we were going to get the deal when we were in Texas. I think we were in.
So you were Houston. Touring at that time?
Yeah, we actually we booked a North American tour for the sake of going out to California to play that showcase. And a funny story actually is that we were contacted by a label, and they're like, "Hey, the next time you guys are in California, we would like to come out and see you," because we were presenting ourselves as way more legit than we were. And we're like, "Oh, sure, no problem." Well, we didn't have a tour booked, and we didn't even have a van to get out to California. So we ended up getting on this game show on MTV called Silent Library. I'm dating myself now, I guess. This is in 2009. And we ended up getting enough money from that show to buy a van. And then we booked this ghetto tour to get us out to California. It was a horrible experience because most of the shows, nobody showed up. Sometimes the sound guy didn't even show up. But we just had that goal where we got to get to California, we got to play this showcase, and we did. So it kind of worked out.
That's insane. So you got on an MTV show just to fund your... This literally sounds like Queen a little bit. They had nothing, and then they were building up and everything like that. They finally got a van and everything. That's pretty sick. So
That's funny.
So when you finally got to California, you got signed, and being in California, you're surrounded by all these people that are aspiring artists like you are. And what was it like to achieve that goal of getting signed?
Man, at the time, my life has completely changed since then, right? That's like a whole nother lifetime ago.
Mhm.
But at the time, it was amazing, right? I mean, I was young. I think I turned 20. I remember, no, I might have turned 19. On my 19th birthday, we were driving out to California. Um, yeah, so it just felt really good. Like it felt like we achieved a goal that we've been only hoping and dreaming about for the past few years and putting everything we had into it. So it was very surreal to meet a lot of people and play shows with people. It was a very interesting time. Yeah, for sure.
Especially heavy metal too. That was like, not a lot of people were being able to be zesty with that. And it was like, a lot of people, like you really had to know what you were doing to do like heavy metal and like step into that. It's bold. It's bold. Why'd you like heavy metal out of like all things? What you like the hardcore feeling?
No, no, I like the guitar work. So I'm a guitar player, and a lot of the metal is much more technical than other genres, and so I was just really drawn to it. And so I just ended up going down that road for the guitar work, really. And then you end up in that scene. It's just kind of like the only place to go if you want to be playing a certain style of guitar.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
pretty insane. And you really went for it. Thinking like I'm 19 now, I'm about to be 20 in a few weeks. And to think about just
Uh,
going on a tour like that on your own, trying to
yeah.
chase your dreams. I mean, what
It
was
was
it
weird.
like for the independence to kind of kick in and say, hey, I'm not in school anymore. I'm really doing my own thing now.
I don't know. But are you going to have to change your YouTube name when you turn 20?
I don't know. Guys, if you have suggestions in the chat, please let me know. I'll make sure to keep every suggestion in mind and smash those likes while you're commenting what I should do when I turn 20. But again, what was it like to finally have your independence and just be out on the road like that?
Um, I guess I didn't really think much about it, to be honest with you. Like it was just like a natural progression of things because I was in bands and I was touring before the band that I was in. So I had been doing it since I was much younger, and so it just felt kind of normal. Like I would take time off school to go on like East Coast tours all the time in my high school band, and I never had this feeling where I felt independent, where I felt like I was moving on to something new. It just kind of blended together. I know that sounds kind of weird, but
No, it makes sense. It
you
really
know,
does. Like you were meant to do what you had to do back then.
yeah, basically. There is one moment though. I do remember a specific moment in Portland, Oregon, where I was playing a show, sold out show, and we were sound checking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, wow! I can't believe I made it this far." So
Oh.
it kind of like hit me in the face right there. I'm like, "Wow, I'm actually doing this. This is crazy."
It was like your imposter syndrome moment. Like you were just kind of in shock of what you came to do. And you achieved
Yeah.
it. Like, a lot of people set out to do things, but they don't really follow through with it. But you had the dedication to do that. So much respect to you.
Well, I can't take credit. Like in hindsight, I really see God's hand in my life in so many ways, and especially even with the music. Even though I wasn't necessarily, I definitely was not living a godly lifestyle at the time. But there are many people that put in the work and put in the time and don't get to that level or even close to it. So I can't even necessarily say that I can take credit for it. It just happened. It's a very strange thing in hindsight because I know people that deserved it more and didn't get it. So it's a strange thing.
Yeah, I think, everything happens for a reason. And especially, again, you're super young, you're on the road, basically on your own, signing record deals, which is crazy at such a young age. And then, where did that take you after you're playing for a while? What did you end up leaving the label? How did that all end up for you?
Yeah, well, I became a Christian, so I just surrendered my life to Jesus, and I was very convicted of my sinful lifestyle. To be honest with you, I was living a very hedonistic lifestyle, self-destructive in a lot of ways, and so I just felt that the Lord placed it on my heart, like I need to give this up, like I need to give this up because I was living for it completely, like I was worshiping music, and
Hmm.
it was my God basically. And so I just left the band I found somebody who could play all the parts, and he just filled in for me for a few tours. And all the guys eventually went on to do other musical things. But at that point, yeah, my life took a very different turn. Like, just to say it, just to put it that way, a very different turn. So I was heading one direction, and then I just got the little pin, then flip, went the other way.
Wow. Was it just like a switch that went off, or was it like a built up thing where you said, I really have to walk away from this and better myself? Because I think it's courageous to do that.
Yeah. It was like a switch. It was a switch because I literally went from feeling like this is exactly where I want to be in my life to feeling like I can't keep doing this. It was a switch. So yeah, it was a very strange thing in hindsight.
Maybe it was meant to be. Sometimes like your
I think
inner
so.
self just tells you stuff and you have to just listen to it and do what you need to do. And do you ever regret your decision, or you're 100% still solid with it?
No, I don't regret it at all.
That's great.
I don't regret it at all. And I'll be honest with you, like at the time when it happened, I had so much peace about it. I didn't ever second guess it. I've never second guessed it.
That's beautiful. You shouldn't. If you're going to make a decision, then be confident in your decision and, stick with it. And after you had this turn, where did life take you? Did you get like a different job after that, or you stayed independent? Because I know it's like one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Living like that.
Well, when I was done with the band, I was living in my mom's garage, my parents' garage, and I had no friends, I had no job, I had no education. And I was like, man, what am I gonna do? But I ended up starting a business with my brother and my father, and basically just a little family marketing business. Because while I was in the band, I was also developing websites and doing search engine optimization.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
So I started a search engine optimization business, and the Lord blessed it, and so I was able to live on it, and that was a huge blessing. So I started doing that, but it was a slow progression. Like there were a few years where I had to like get my life together because I had no idea what I was gonna do, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
You
It's a
just
strange time.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like it's like Bitcoin in like the accumulation phase. It's just like sideways action until like something
Yeah.
just really pops off for you. And like how did you kind of rebuild yourself after that? What was the rebuilding process? How did you restructure Jayson?
It was just again, it was just kind of a natural progression. I ended up starting the business. I met my wife,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
yeah. So when I met my wife, we wanted to be as self-sufficient as possible. So that's one of the reasons why I'm into crypto in general. Like I'm a homesteader, so we grow our own food, we raise our own animals,
Wow.
we are on our way to being completely off grid, and yeah. So we kind of just wanted to go in that direction. So we just again, it was just kind of like a natural progression of we were living in the city-ish area, and we knew that we wanted to move out into the country and do this, and so that's what we're doing now.
Dang. Wow, that's so you found crypto before or after? Like what happened with your marketing business? Are you still in
Yeah.
that, or like did you
No.
guys like end up closing shop? What happened there?
Yeah, so basically, like when I started my YouTube channel, I was doing both for a while, and then it just got to the point where I couldn't do both. And I've been trading for a while already.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm a trading YouTuber, it was very easy to just say, well, I'm just going to do this now because it's technically my job to make trading content, which means it's also my job to trade. So,
Exactly.
it's yeah.
And when you created your YouTube channel, when was that? Why did you want to create content?
Why did I want to create content? Well, so it all goes back to January 2021 when I heard a video that BitBoy made where basically he was talking about market cipher, and he said, all you have to do is long the green dots. And I like, first of all, I love Ben. He's a great guy and everything, and I love market cipher. But I knew, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is taking a huge dump right now. But I knew that if people actually just long the green dots, they were going to get wrecked. And I'm like, you know what? There's a big lack of educational content out there when it comes to trading with market cipher. Like CryptoFace has its tutorials, but there's not like anything besides the basic strategy. There's not a lot of educational content on that. So I'm like, there's a huge void here. Let me fill the void. So that's why I started making content.
Wow. And sorry, did I cut you off?
No, you didn't cut me off. I'm actually trading while I'm doing the interview.
I know. I do see you're multitasking here. So when did you first find crypto? What was that like for you?
Yeah. So, I've always been like kind of a conspiracy theorist, I guess you could say, in the sense that, I know about the Federal Reserve. I read the book Creature from Jekyll Island. I understand the dollar's a huge Ponzi scheme that's like stealing our wealth. And if I had $1 in 1913, it would only have 3% of the purchasing power today. And so I'm like, man, what can I do to preserve the purchasing power of my money? And I had heard at the time about Bitcoin. This was back in 2014, right when I got married. And I'm like, that's really interesting. You can, this is currency, peer-to-peer, decentralized. You can be your own bank. You don't need a government. It can't be duplicated. You can't devalue it. There's a fixed supply and the whole algorithm. I'm like, this is really cool. And then in 2015 or maybe 2016, it was before the 2017 bull run. I heard a podcast and this guy was super bullish on Bitcoin. He's like, every Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million by like 2030. He gave some random year.
Yeah.
And, I just FOMO'd in. Bitcoin was like $500. I went home. I told my wife, I was at the gym when I heard the podcast. So I went home. I'm like, look, I heard about this thing called Bitcoin. I think we should take all our life savings and put it into Bitcoin. And she was like, all right. She was like, cool with it.
Wow.
Which is weird.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay.
That's what I said. Because, I'm such a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. I'll just go for it without thinking it through. But she's like the responsible one to keep me
in check
from going. Exactly.
Yeah.
But she was just like, okay, didn't even think twice. Oh. So that's when I knew, it's a sign. Right?
Yeah.
So, we took what we had at the time. It was maybe $30K and put it into Bitcoin when Bitcoin was between $500 and $700. And that's actually how we were able to buy our homestead property, because the next year it went up to 20K. Yeah, I know. It was insane. It was a huge blessing. It was a total God thing, because if somebody came to me and said, hey, do you think I should take all my life savings and just put it into cryptocurrency without knowing anything about at the time I was just getting into investing. I didn't know much about technical analysis. So it was a pretty dumb move, but it worked out.
That is so wild. And your wife was just like, okay, did you explain Bitcoin to her, or she just fully trusted you? Because that's trust right there.
Me. Yeah, she just trusts me with stuff. She's like, hey, she's like, if this is what you're going to do, as your wife, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to follow your lead.
Shout out to your wife. She's amazing. And, you put your whole life savings in there. You had the bull run, went to 20K, but then it came down. So what did you guys do then? And why did you stay in crypto after seeing such a big run up and then a pullback like that?
Well, I sold a lot of Bitcoin at 10K. And when it went up to 20K, a week or two later, I remember that, I ended up selling some more as it came back down to 16K. But I still kept some Bitcoin because I was still convinced that it was going to $1 million for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I don't trust the dollar, right? I don't trust the financial system. So I'm not going to be getting a 401k or any kind of stupid like fund that allegedly when I'm old is going to be like available to me.
Yeah.
So I just look at crypto. I was looking at crypto and like physical precious metals as well as like this is going to be like my retirement. So when Bitcoin crashed back down, we were buying it like every month. We would buy Bitcoin every single month.
Wow.
Regardless of what price it was, we would we had budgeted out money to buy crypto, and that's just like what we did.
Wow.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
You were dollar cost averaging the entire way down.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I guess the entire way down. You're right. I didn't actually start to buy more until it was back under 10K.
Yeah.
I somehow intuitively knew. I'll never forget. I'm always at the gym. I'll never forget. I was at the gym, and I got an alert from Coinbase that we hit 10K, and I immediately just stopped what I was doing and went home because I'm like, this is unsustainable. This is retarded. Like, I know you're not supposed to say retarded.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought to myself. I'm like, this cannot continue. Like, I bought this thing, it was $500. Now it's $10,000. Like, I have to go home and sell it right now,
Yeah.
So.
Wow. And, under 10K, like that's really wild. And, you've seen all of the cycles, and being that you're a trader, do you see any similarities between, 2017, 2018 till now, and you've seen a few cycles from then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still a believer that we're just going to continue this cycle with the halving.
Yeah.
I have no reason to doubt it. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So far, we've been repeating the same patterns. So I think we bottomed out. I don't think the bull market has started again. But I think there's a lot of indications that we've actually bottomed out. And even if we get a huge dump, when I say bottomed out, I don't necessarily mean that we put in the bottom, but I mean the bear market is over. Every single bear market that we've ever had, we put in some kind of double bottom. Like we bottom out, we get relief. We put in a double bottom, and then the bull market starts. So right now, I think we're heading into a relief rally. People are going to get super bullish, and then we'll probably dump again. And people get super bearish, and then the bull market will start,
Yeah, it's all about kind of like the psychology of everybody. And what have you been watching out for lately? What indicators do you use? Or what are you seeing on the charts as of late? Because, I feel like, we're going up, we're accumulating, we go up, then we, go sideways for a little bit. But I feel like this 23K level is just so difficult for us to get through.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we're literally just trading in a range, which is what Bitcoin does most of the time, right? So... Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can show you some charts if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. We love the charts out here, guys. Smash the likes for charts. We love TA.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I'm very excited. I do know CryptoFace is in the chat, so shout out to CryptoFace.
Yeah, shout out to CryptoFace, man.
We love him.
He was in my stream earlier, so yeah, everybody loves CryptoFace. So can you see this screen here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So here's basically what I am looking at. There's two potential kind of scenarios. First of all, we are coming up to a very important zone of resistance on the chart right now, which is those August highs. The August highs around 25K. That is also the May low. So we have this really nice support resistance flip right around this area. And we have gotten a really nice move to the upside where we've actually officially, for the first time since November 11th, we put in a higher high on the weekly time frame. So we've actually taken out the last two swing highs on this chart. And to me, that is very bullish, on like the weekly time frame. And I'm actually looking for a pullback here, to be honest with you. Like I'm waiting for some kind of a pullback. We've had a very bullish, impulsive move. We've switched to bullish market structure. I'm looking for some kind of a pullback, and I think tomorrow wouldn't surprise me if we get some kind of pullback tomorrow with the Fed announcing the rate hike.
Yeah.
Every single time the Fed has announced the rate hike, we've had some kind of crazy volatile move. Like it happened right here at this high. It happened right here just before the FTX dump. We had one back in August as well. So I'm actually kind of thinking that there's a few scenarios I'm looking at. Scenario number one is like that potentially the high is already in, and we might come down to retest some key supports. Scenario number two is that the high is not yet in, and we pump tomorrow and then put in like a significant high and get some kind of retracement. And how deep the retracement goes, I can't really say for certain, obviously, but I am looking at like this. This is like the 4-hour time frame here. And yeah, I'm not saying that we're going to come down here. I was just messing with some ideas earlier. But as long as we don't lose this level right here at like 22.3, we're still putting in higher lows and higher highs in this zone. And as long as we don't lose the key support, the pre-FTX dump around 20,500, we might only retrace down to 20.5K before we get another move to the upside. So the reason why I think we probably have bottomed out, and I know this is controversial, but it's really because like the monthly time frame. So every single bear cycle, the monthly time frame, we bottom out basically when we print this green dot in the monthly time frame. And I know we don't have much history on Bybit USD pair. So let me see if I can pull up a different chart.
Yeah, sure. And it really does make sense because, obviously number can't always go up. There has to be, like number can't always go up. Like it's just not realistic. So of course Bitcoin might have to retrace at some point or another.
It's healthy. If we don't get a retracement, then that's an unhealthy trend. So I mean we could just see here, so for the past 3 bear markets, we have bottomed out with this green dot printing on market cipher B. And not only that, but we always also bottom out in between the Fibonacci 786 and 886 fib levels. So over here in the 2018 bear market, if we turn on the 786 and the 886 Fibonacci retracement levels, that's exactly where we bottomed out as we were printing the green dot in market cipher B. And if we fast forward to our present day, you can see that we are also bottoming out right now in between the 786 and the 886 fib level. So, wow. And there's a lot of other indications that are telling me that a very significant bottom is in. And the only thing that's different this time is that, the whole world is falling apart. We haven't had that in the past 10 years. So,
wow. That's really interesting.
There's always plenty of opportunity. Even in these sideways markets, there's plenty of opportunity to take trades. Like I was literally just live for 3 hours and we were scalping this little like chunk of price action on the 1 minute time frame. Like I was just taking trades in this little 1 minute time frame right here, because Bitcoin or any asset, like there's so much opportunity to make money trading. I mean, obviously it's a skill and you really have to have your risk management and all that stuff down. But
absolutely.
This whole consolidation range has been such a gold mine because it's like, technical analysis works. And if you know what you're doing, you can enter into some juicy trades. I mean, for example, look at this. We have just come up to this key level right here. It's like the volume area high of this sideways range that we've been trading. And look at the move down we got from this.
That's a crazy wick right there.
I know it is pretty crazy. But so if you're prepared for stuff like this, and we were actually waiting for this on my stream, but if you're prepared for moves like this, you can take advantage of the volatility, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I mean, but looking at the 1, 2, 3 minute time frames, why choose to do those type of time frames? Because I know that's like, very crazy stuff in the trading world.
Right. Yeah. So people always ask, like, what's the best time frame to trade or whatever. It's not necessarily about the time frame. It's about like the level that price is coming to on the chart. So like you're going to be looking at a higher term time frame, and then if price is coming down to, let's say, a key level on that high time frame, then you zoom into the lower time frames to get your entry. So, like, for example, Yeah, last night we put in this low, and then this morning we came down and we bounced right from like Fibonacci golden pocket. And so on the 1 minute time frame, I was looking to grab a long trade from right here. You know, you're on right now. I'm on the 1 hour, but if you go down to the 1 minute, that's where you're actually going to get your confirmation for the entry, because all time frames are showing you the same thing, but from different resolutions. So if you see something that looks bullish on the daily time frame, and it still looks bullish on the 4 hour, and it still looks bullish on the 1 hour, and it still looks bullish on the 10 minute and the 1 minute, and all time frames are saying this is it, you know, that's when you go in. So it's not like I'm sitting there on the 1 minute only, but you know, that's where you get your entries, right? That's where you actually get the entries. And right now we're getting kind of a pullback here.
Yeah, and I like we were saying, like, you know, number can't always go up, but what do you think when you see such a drop like that? Because obviously you could see the green, it would be you know, the green candle, I would say, or the light blue one. We had a nice candle up, and now we're kind of seeing like a full retrace of that one candle. So like, what does that tell you? Is that scary, or is that like whatever?
Well, to me, we can't miss the forest for the trees. So we are trading right now in a clearly defined sideways range, and it's like, if as long as we don't lose this range, I'm not going to get overly bullish. I'm not going to get overly bearish, you know, because it all goes back to buy low and sell high. I mean, it's been a week and a half of just, you know, if I would never recommend doing this, but you know, if anybody's just like blindly going to like short the highs and like long the lows, it would have worked out kind of good for you all week, you know?
Yeah.
So right now, there's a reason why we're getting moved down from here. And it's because, you know, we came up to this blue line on the chart, which is the value area high of the range. So basically, any asset is always trying to establish a fair value where anything inside this blue zone is considered fair value. You don't really want to take a trade in this zone, but you do want to take trades if we come to the highs of that zone or to the lows of that zone. So we came to the high of the zone, and now we're finding resistance there. Is to be expected. Like, that's just what we'd actually expect from there. So as long as we don't start to lose this sideways range all the way to the downside, there's no reason for me to think that this is a scary thing or a bearish thing or anything like that, you know?
And, you know, being that we're experiencing a little bit of volatility right now, how do you think, like you were saying, you were mentioning a little bit before, how do you think the FOMC is going to affect this?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely going to be volatility. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, there's going to be volatility tomorrow when Jerome Powell speaks at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so basically the way I approach that is to me, is like business as usual. I'm looking always for an opportunity to get into a trade. So right now, like for me, I have a few ideas to get into trades. One idea I have right now is like, you know, basically getting a pump tomorrow and getting a fake out of this high with you know, bearish divergences on market cipher. That to me would be a pretty nice opportunity to potentially get into a short trade. That's one potential that I'm looking at here, you know?
Got it. Yeah. I really like it. Thank you for explaining the time frame stuff, because I do know, like, you know, from what I've been gathering is that you could look at, like, you know, the lower time frames to confirm like a longer time frame and things like that. Like, that's really insightful. What do you, like, when you first started charting, what were you looking for? And if you were to go back to like your newbie chart self, what would you tell yourself to look for?
Yeah. Well, I would say that when it comes to what to look for, or when it comes to trading in general, every trader has to have three things. They have to have some kind of strategy or multiple strategies that gets them into a trade and out of a trade. They have to be using good risk management so that their wins are always more than their losses. And then they have to have the patience and the discipline to stick to those strategies. So I would tell myself to pick any strategy, even the simplest one, and stick to it with good risk management. And I think that would have saved me a lot of heartache and grief in the beginning of my trading venture, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, it's not necessarily what to look for. as more as how to trade, like the rules you need to abide by if you want to be doing this for any length of time without getting absolutely wrecked in the process. Because you will get wrecked if you don't have those three things.
Absolutely. And how do you like in this type of environment, there's volatility, you could have strong convictions in either side. How do you handle your risk management? How do you handle your ego during this time?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Basically, what you have to do is every single trade you take, you never want to risk more than, and this varies for everybody, but for me, I never risk more than 1% of my stack per trade, period. So any trade I take, the amount of loss that I will have if the trade goes against me is always the same. But we always want to take trade setups where there's more potential for profit than loss. So for example, right now, I am in a short from that this level right here. And if you look at my stop loss here, when I entered the trade, the reason why I entered the trade is because we were rejecting from a Fibonacci golden pocket. So let me see if I could pull this thing on. Yeah, we're rejecting from this golden pocket right here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm risking right now. When I took the trade, I knew that if price had come above this wick here, 0.05%, then that's it. My idea is wrong. I need to get out of the trade. But I also know that because we are coming to the top of this range, that my target, my final target, is going to be a 2.3% move. So I'm risking 0.05% to make 2.3%. If you're always keeping your trade setups like that, where you're looking for what's the upside, what's the potential downside, and you know every trade you take, you're only going to lose 1% of your stack, but you know the next trade you're going to make 3%. Well, that means you could take 3 losses in a row, and on that 4th trade, you break even. And that really takes a lot of the pressure off of it because it allows you to trade without emotion. You know, if this trade goes wrong, who cares? The next one, I'll make it back plus some. But if this trade goes right, I know that my target is a juicy gain. So a lot of traders make the mistake of taking trades in the middle of nowhere without having like clear levels of support and resistance. So for me, we came up to resistance. We got a little retracement to the golden pocket. I know this is it. If price comes above this level, I got to get out because my idea is wrong. But if price goes in my direction, there's a high probability now that we will actually come back down to this lower blue line, you know? So yep. That is how I approach risk management. Everybody does it differently, but for me, that's really worked because it's something that I can control. You know, you can't control what price does, but you can control how much you risk on a trade. You can control how much you lose on a trade. You can control whether or not you take a trade. And focus on the things you can control. And then when a trade goes against you, oh, well, that does not matter at all. You know?
Exactly. Wow. That's great. Thank you for sharing that because, you know, I do think a lot of, you know, like you said, people have different plans on how they handle, you know, risk, how they handle volatility and their egos and, you know, how to control their risk management. And I think, you know, what you're doing is very insightful. And I know you're, you know, you have, you know, your volume, you have everything on your chart and Market Cipher. I know you have actually a course for that. By the way, thank you for sharing your charts. I wanted to ask you, how did you actually start your course? Was that when you started your content? Because I know initially you said you wanted to make sure people understood Market Cipher. Is that when you started your course?
Yeah. Basically, it's a course that goes over how I trade, and I do trade using Market Cipher. I mean, it really is. It's the best indicator I think you could use in TradingView because it will tell you things that you need a lot of time and experience and crazy tools to know, as opposed to just looking at these nice humps over here. And yeah, so that's kind of why I started making the course, because there were a lot of people that were flopping and groping out there. And I have like a little system that I use, you know?
Yeah, and I know you also use memes for your trading. I know you popped one up around the blockchain. What memes do you use and when are they applicable?
Oh, man. So, okay, so there is the upside down Sandbank Fried Mambu bearish Market Cipher B pattern, which God. Is, yeah, so that's actually what we're forming right now. That's where the, on Market Cipher B, we can see here that as we're actually ranging here, the money flow is getting lower. and the momentum waves are also getting lower as the price continues to get higher. And that's showing us that the price is getting higher, but money's leaving the market and momentum's leaving the market. So what does that tell us? It means there has to be some kind of a correction because it's unsustainable. If money's leaving the market and price is going up, that's unsustainable. If momentum's leaving the market and price is going up, it's unsustainable. So that's the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried man boob pattern. And then the opposite is also true. Like, so if we're going to come back down to, for example, the low that we put in right down here, which was a juicy long trade. Actually, I'm actually still in this long trade from $16,300 right here. We caught that wick. We actually did. We gave that setup in advance over in the Casper Crew Discord to take that long because if you look at Market Cipher B, this time we were printing the uneven butt cheek pattern. And this is where when price is getting lower, you got that juicy left butt cheek over here. You know, it's so juicy. And then you have the skinny right butt cheek over here. That is very bullish. That's showing you that momentum is coming into the market as the price is getting lower like this. And the 4-hour time frame is actually one of the best time frames to be looking at this. You know, you got this beautiful uneven butt cheek pattern right here. And so those are the main patterns that I'm looking at on Market Cipher. And I would tell anybody, especially anybody who's like newer to using Market Cipher, if you just stick on like the 1-hour time frame and you only take trades when you're seeing the money flow and the momentum waves doing the opposite of the price, you have a very, very high win rate if you're using like lower leverage and, you know, taking profit when you're in profit. Because that's a very, very powerful signal. I mean, check this out, right? Market Cipher predicted the FTX dump. And, you know, it was kind of a sad story for me because I actually got stopped out of my short because I shorted this, right? I shorted this and then got stopped out. But we saw the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man blue pattern on Market Cipher right before that whole FTX thing happened, right? Price was getting higher. And we saw the money flow getting lower here on Market Cipher B. We also saw the momentum waves getting lower here on Market Cipher B. But the FTX news didn't come out until Tuesday, November 8th, right over here. But look at this. Before the FTX dump even happened, we got an extreme bearish Sam Bankman-Fried pattern here where the money flow actually crosses purple from the blue into the purple.
Oh my God.
Before this last pump. And so this is like, if you ever see this happen, this is like the top signal. I mean, the last time this thing happened is very rare. It happened at the all-time high for Bitcoin. It happened before FTX, and it's currently happening right now as well. So, you know, that's why I'm expecting a pullback soon. But I'm hoping that we get another FTX kind of pre-dump pump right here. You know, because I feel like right now we're like trading in this range, and then if we tomorrow can get like a pump and then a massive dump, that would be nice for a short, right? For a pullback, I'd still be bullish even if we dump down to like, you know, 17K. I'd still be kind of bullish just because of the market structure change on the weekly, you know?
Yes. Wow, that's so insightful. Those memes are excellent.
They help get the point across, you know?
Absolutely, they're so memorable. Like I remember you brought the uneven butt cheek one on BitBoy show, and I was dying. Like I thought it was great. Yeah. And you said you're experiencing which one now? The Sam Bankman-Fried one, right?
We do currently have the Sam Bankman-Fried one forming here on the 4-hour time frame. We've had it for a while. That's the thing, right? We've had it for a while. So yeah. Like I shorted this right here, thinking this could have been the high. I shorted this, thinking this could have been the high. I'm short from here, thinking this could be the high. But, you know, usually the Sam Bankman-Fried upside down crooked man boob pattern plays out much quicker than it has been now. So that's making me think, you know, I last time we had a monthly green dot on Market Cipher, it was the bottom of the 2018 bear market. So, you know, conditions have not been like this for, 4 years. So very interesting times that we're in. Well, let's see if Sam Bankman-Fried still has the power to dump the market now, you know?
I'm so over him, bro. Like, I'm literally so over him. Like, I'm done hearing about him. And, you know, of course, there's always going to be news about him. You know, his trial is not until what, like October of next year. So we have like so much time for him to like write Substacks about how he's like okay and FTX US is solvent, even though it's not probably. But yeah, hopefully we don't hear any more negative news. But I guess regardless, we got the charts to kind of warn us, like you said, before the FTX collapse. Market Cipher did warn you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's the saying, like, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. I made a video a while back how I trade Elon Musk tweets back when people were like blaming Elon for dumping and pumping. It's like, look, I shorted before Elon tweeted that Bitcoin was bad for the environment because the chart was bearish. Or, I'll never forget the night. Was that the night Crypto Face made $1 million? I forget. Elon Musk tweeted in like January 2021 or something and pumped the price. But before Elon tweeted, I was long. A lot of people were long because super bullish. Like, it just looks so dang bullish. So it's very interesting how that happens. Like, news events can be catalysts to maybe like help the move along, but it's always kind of like there in the chart beforehand. It's very interesting.
It really is. And, I've been like, listening to traders, and either, people don't think like news affects the charts at all, or, the charts can help you with the news, or, but I really do think that, they coincide with one another, like for sure. Like, there's definitely a correlation between news and the charts, at least in my eyes. I don't know.
There's some kind of correlation. The more I do technical analysis, the more, I guess, not creepy, but I don't know how to explain it, like metaphysical almost things get. Like when you realize that technical analysis is respected, and when you look back at history of like global markets that were respecting Fibonacci levels to the dollar, and we're talking like over the course of decades. We're not talking like a 5-minute time frame Fibonacci. We're talking like over the course of decades. And then you look at like what's happening in the world at the time. Like, for example, the dollar index rejected from the Fibonacci golden pocket 2 months before 9/11 happened, and then took a dump. It's like, wait a second, this is crazy. Like, it just so happens that a major world event happens right as the dollar index is getting to this key level on the chart. That's crazy. And when you go back and like look at things like the Great Depression, and then you have to factor in like wars and famines and geopolitical changes, they're all respecting these levels on the chart. And it's like, what the heck is going on here? Like,
that's
it's
weird.
Very strange.
Like simulation types.
Yeah, it's like it is so strange, because it's when you look at a chart, you're charting the emotions and decisions of millions and millions of people all around the world speaking different languages. And it's almost as if as a collective, people don't have the free will to buy and sell things. It's very strange.
I think people just people just go with the crowd. People hear something bad on TV, and then they're like, maybe. Oh, I'll just dump Bitcoin because the TV says it's bad. It's just, there's no maybe. Simple reason. Like, people just go with the crowd.
Yeah, I don't necessarily even buy that, and I'll tell you why. It's because,
tell me.
It's because, like, for example, the 9/11 example. It's like we were dumping before that happened. It's like the chart was telling us bearish before that happened. So even if people did go with the crowd after that, it's just the fact that it would have happened whether or not maybe 9/11 actually happened. Like, that dump maybe would have still happened because the chart was saying it was going to happen. It can almost like predict the future.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like it's like literally like we're in a simulation almost, because of how weird it all really correlates. And like you said, you were looking at, a chart, and it was decades long of a period that you were looking at. Yet, with the macroeconomic scene of like the entire world, it still worked. Like, this chart still kind of went along with it.
It's weird. It is very strange stuff. It makes you think.
No, 100%. It makes you think. And speaking of like, the general like outlook of the world crypto, how do you feel about crypto going forward? And like, I guess the next year, 5-10 years, we could even go down the line. How do you feel about crypto as a whole?
I don't know. I wish I could say, I think it's going to be great. I've always looked at crypto as a means to acquiring actual things like physical assets, land and animals and stuff like that. I don't necessarily like where things are going with Bitcoin. Is not what Satoshi had envisioned, right? He was envisioning like a decentralized peer-to-peer currency that was completely decentralized, but we've taken it, instead of using it what it was meant for, we put it in a bank, like FTX, and look how that turned out. And now I can foresee most people, unfortunately, moving in like a CBDC direction, where crypto, the technology, is probably going to be used for more nefarious purposes than it will be used for liberating purposes. And I think we might see the incrimination of people and or platforms that are trying to use it to create freedom, right? So I don't know what's going to become of all of it, to be honest with you. And I know this doesn't sound like somebody who's into crypto, but I honestly don't really even care. I don't really even care. Like, for me right now, I look at cryptocurrency as a means to right now support me and my family, and to provide resources for myself and other people in my community, and honestly other people all around the world as well who need resources. So for as long as I can do this, I'm going to do it. And if it goes away, it goes away. On to the next thing.
Gotcha. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us, and you provided a lot of alpha, and I really do appreciate that you took everything slow and you really explained everything. Like I said, it was very educational, super informative, and I do appreciate you coming on the show. I'm going to drop the link to your course, your YouTube channel, and your Twitter in the live chat. Again, all of his stuff, including his link tree, is in the description. Where can everyone find you if you want to shout out all your handles, and what message do you have to share with the audience? It could be about anything. It could be about being your own land, being your own bank, and being a self-sovereign individual, or it could be about uneven butt cheek memes. What do you have to say for our friends?
Well, first of all, Randy, thank you for having me on your channel. I appreciate it. We'll have to have you on mine very soon.
Yep.
And you could YouTube Jayson Casper, Twitter @Jayson_Casper, Instagram. I actually forget my Instagram handle. Yeah.
I tagged it on my Instagram story. If anyone wants to get his Instagram, check my Instagram, and you'll get his Instagram.
Also, for your viewers, 50% discount on the course if you use the coupon code ZESTY. So 50% off. It's a pretty good deal.
Okay, friends. So JaysonCasperTrading.com. Use code ZESTY. And there you go, friends. You could get some trading help. And speaking of trading and Market Cypher, I believe I even have a link for you guys to check out. If you guys want to check out Market Cypher and everything going on with that, then I encourage you to click this link and check it out as well if you're into Market Cypher and learning about everything that Jayson's teaching you about on his trading course right there. So use code ZESTY for JaysonCasperTrading.com, and use my link right there if you want to get in on Market Cypher as well with the discount. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. This was super informative, a great show. So thank you again, Jayson, for joining me. I really do appreciate you. We got to do this again sometime. Friends in the chat, thank you again. Make sure you smash these likes, you subscribe, you share this stream out with friends so more people can learn about the alpha that Jayson dropped, as well as his amazing backstory. He's been through so much to get to this point. So show him some love, give him a follow, smash the likes, subscribe, comment down below, and comment after this is over whether you like the memes that Jayson provided today. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. And as always, stay zesty. Peace.